Lack of cooperation by the elite in the movement and outside. Let me give you an example. There's a small country called the Netherlands. The Netherlands, you can put 6 Netherlands in one Uganda. That country is 500 meters below sea level. That country has almost zero resources. But for the last 500 years, they've used one tool called collaboration, collaboration, collaboration on things that matter. From the 17th century, they took the intellectuals. There was an intellectual called, I think his name was Baruch Spinoza. He helped shape a thinking around how to work together in terms of governance. They brought in other people, another man who was a specialist on canals, on dikes, on windmills. I think his name was Jan Leeuwater. They worked together and went to the king, to the royal family. The royal family at the time was the House of Orange. And they said, for us to compete with limited resources, we have to come together on the things that matter, otherwise we'll be submerged. That thinking took them to Indonesia. By the year 1621, a fellow called, I think his name was Jan Pieterszoon Koen, he began the Dutch East India Company to control the spice trade from the Far East. When the British sensed that the Dutch had gone ahead of them, because the Dutch had displaced the Portuguese had been there in 1605, which tells you that being there, number one, does not always guarantee sustainability unless you keep innovating. When the British saw what the Dutch had done, they too started the British East India Company. And that company was buttressed by a strong navy. The British built a strong navy to protect global trade on the high seas. That's why defense is connected to economy, economy is connected to thinking, thinking is connected to leadership. So you tell me how a country that you can feed 6 times in Uganda can become number 2 global exporter of fruits and vegetables. In fact, I have recently found out the largest capitalized company by global value now in artificial intelligence in making machines that make computer chips. It's called ASML. It's Dutch. They make lithography machines based on which computer chips and semiconductors are made. And that company had a lot of pressure from the US because of the trade restrictions between America and China. But the point is, you start with unity. Unity gives you capacity. Capacity gives you investment. Investment takes you to education and science. Science gives you continuous levers of change, because that's how they are able to use science and technology in agriculture to be the second largest exporter in the world. That country beats all the other countries simply because internally they faced dangers, they saw the threats together, and they agreed on how to ameliorate, how to defend themselves against those threats. It's not cast in stone. Countries change, social groups change. That's why the movement must continuously evolve, must continuously review its approach to human rights, to economy, to organization. It starts with a people united around what they do. I thank you. I am your friend, Odrek Rwabwogo.